5 reasons why you're not getting enough clients. Hi, my name's Liz Stanford. I'm one half of BABA, the Birth and Baby Business Academy, the community membership for birth and baby business owners.
Hello, I'm Anna Lagrange, and I'm the other half of BABA Business, the community membership for birth and baby businesses who want to turn their passion into profit. And we should also add at the beginning that we would love you to share this episode if you're enjoying it, like us, subscribe to our channel if you're watching on YouTube, and leave us a review. We'd absolutely love that.
Brilliant. Well remembered. So let's get into the topic today. It is a bit of a juicy one, and it might be triggering a few people, and people might be thinking, yeah, why aren't I getting enough clients? So where should we start, Anna?
Oh my goodness, there's so many places to start. I think we've all been there, wherever you're at in your business journey, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been doing this for 10 years like we have. There's always going to be times when you aren't getting enough clients. And the key to these moments is what you do differently. So we're here to sort of help you to think about what could you do differently, instead of kind of getting into that spiral of like, this isn't going to work, I'm no good at this, let's give it up and get a job at the local supermarket or whatever it is we're thinking. So I always like to start with, we have all thought it, definitely. So I like to think about clarity. It's really hard to work on your business if you're not clear on what your vision is. But beyond that, you're feeling into your vision. You've got to feel excited about what you're offering. If you're not feeling excited, then kind of got to go back to the drawing board. Not like just to start again, but just to kind of tune back into kind of, why did I do this in the first place? What was it that I envisaged? Where am I heading? Sometimes I find that when we're not getting sales in something, we sort of scatter ourselves. So let's say, for example, you put on a workshop, perhaps it sold really well the first time, and then over time numbers are slowly dwindling. And you're like, right, well, that's not working anymore. And then you go to the next thing, or then you go to the next thing. And we tend to then start having quite a complicated business model, and we're spreading ourselves really thinly. Perhaps you've even got more than one avatar. So you've got perhaps, I don't know, postnatal and antenatal, and that makes your marketing more confusing. And there's nothing wrong with diversifying in your business and having different strings to your bow. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It can really help a business to be healthy. But you've just got to be really careful of not chucking the towel in as soon as something's not working. And the way to figure out the best path is to go back to that vision. What is it I was trying to do here? Tune into those, really excited, and we often feel those feelings of sort of connection and love in the work that we do, really enjoying helping our clients and seeing how they're feeling. And then when you do that, that's going to help you work out what your priorities are and what you need to be thinking about and where you need to be heading your business.
I agree, definitely. And I think sometimes people can kind of dismiss this as being like, oh, it's not that important. Like people won't know what my vision is or what my mission is. So how can that make a difference to how many clients I'm getting? But it is energetic, but it comes across in your marketing, in how you talk about things, about how confident you are about what you can provide to people and how you can help them and how you can support them. So I think that is, I totally agree that is really important thing to do. And then the other thing when we're thinking about energy is really, if you are a business who's been going for a while and you're not getting any clients, or you're not getting the clients you need to create a sustainable business, then I would kind of really tune into your own energy and tune into thinking about, is this what I want to do? Like, is this really what I want to do? Because sometimes we can find ourselves on a path that we're not enjoying anymore, or we're not, it's not meant for us. And, that's okay. And I know sometimes you might think, oh yeah, but I've paid all this money for my training, and now I don't want to do it. But there's no point in, there's no point in doing something that your heart or your passion isn't in. So sometimes you might need to pivot, and it might not mean that you don't do anything that you've been trained for. It might mean that you package it up differently, or you yeah, you just do things differently. Like you were saying, Anna, it is important to really look at that and to really, really tune into that, and not be like worried or, I don't know, like ashamed of like thinking, oh, you know, this is the wrong thing for me. Like, you know, it's okay to change your mind and do different things.
Yeah, I think our pride can get in the way. I think when we sort of think about, you know, we've told everyone we're doing this, we've put lots of time into it, maybe we've put a lot of money into it, and it can feel like, you can feel like a failure. But the truth is, we're all on this journey, and we've got, you know, there's always going to be things in life. I have these conversations with my kids now, you know, they're teenagers and that coming to that kind of important final stages of their school careers, and it's sort of like, you know, you can't always get everything right, and it's true all the way through life, isn't it? I think one of the things that people don't realize when they come into this as well is really how much time you need to be working on marketing, on getting in new clients, and it can feel exhausting, and I think the key to that is finding what works for you. But one of the reasons you might not be getting enough clients is because you're not doing that enough, and you're not doing it in as many different ways. Something we've talked about on many other podcasts, so go back and have a listen to Get Off Instagram, because we talk about that here, where we might put all of our eggs in one particular basket, such as Instagram. And actually, particularly for in-person services, you need something that can't be your only source of advertising and marketing. You need to have some in-person contacts as well. So we've talked about this a lot, but that's so key. And also remembering that you have to share something a lot. We've just relaunched the membership, has some fantastic new members, and one of the comments from one of them was like, oh, I joined up at the very last minute. Thank you so much for all of your reminder emails. And that was great to hear, wasn't it? Because we do email a lot. We were emailing every day, and some days twice a day. I know there are people out there who will email even more than that, but we know that people need reminding, because we need reminding to buy things, even things that we really, really want. We're busy people, and we might really want to do something, but we haven't had a chance. We've got distracted, or we haven't quite managed to click the final button to join up, and that will be the same for the parents and the parents to be who you are trying to work with. So just remember that they're not going to book with you by just seeing one ad, one flyer, or one post on Instagram. Definitely. They're just not.
Yeah, I think that is something that people are a bit afraid of. Is like, oh, I don't want to sound like I'm just banging on about the same thing again and again, or, you know, aren't people going to get annoyed at me selling? And you've just got to put that completely out of your mind, because like you just said, people need to see it more than once. They need to see it so many times in order for them to actually make a purchasing decision. So if we go back to our launch, which I know is different to what you know, the birth and baby business owners who are going to be listening to this, what they're selling, but if we can use it as a comparison in some way. So we did a daily post on Instagram, if not 2 posts. We went on stories every day. We did a live every day on Instagram, and that was actually usually one of the posts that we did on the grid. Like you said, we sent an email every day. Oh, this is over a period of 10 days. We asked our members to become affiliates and to share. We sent postcards out to people who we had addresses for. We were DMing people who we knew were warm or were hot leads. We were doing it all. And I think that's what you have got to really commit to the numbers that you want, you know. So we had a number in mind of people that we wanted, and so we did everything that we could to get that, or as close to that number as possible. So if you're thinking about filling a group or filling a class, you know, you're applying the same logic. You're not necessarily doing all the things that we were doing, but that's just an example to show you that you need to do more than one thing, and you need to do it more than once in order to get people to really connect, notice, and take the steps that they need to buy from you.
Yeah, and there's the 3 things I'll do if I'm not interested in what somebody is talking about on Instagram or what they're offering me, I will just unfollow. If I am not interested in receiving an email about something, I will unsubscribe. And if somebody comes to me personally and says, I'm offering this, would you be interested? And I say no, then they know that's a no. And so people will tell you if they are if they're not interested. So you really can share as much as you know, as a lot you need to, because in this busy world you've got to stand out in that way and keep yourself in people's minds. That's the key thing.
Definitely so that's definitely touching on visibility there, isn't it? It's like getting visible, getting in front of people, and doing what you need to do to get noticed. But sometimes the reason why we're not getting clients is because, or we're not getting the number of clients, is because our audience isn't big enough. Like, we're just not known by enough people. Our reputation hasn't grown enough to match the numbers of people that we want in our classes or in our courses or groups. So then it's like going back to that, right? How can I grow my audience? How can I grow my reputation? And so, there's different ways to do that. It's like growing our audience on social media is one thing, but then growing your reputation within your community is another thing. So it's like that in-person marketing that we were talking about. And then also maybe thinking about getting a list and communicating with people off social media and on email, so that you can build up that relationship there, because emailing is a great way to sell to people as well. Like, if you can get into that flow, that can be really powerful and helpful for your business. So thinking about growing your audience and making that a priority is really key to filling your groups and courses.
Yeah, I completely agree. And part of that and being more visible is getting over any stumbling blocks that you might have about getting visible. We did a visibility month back in October for our members at the time, and wow, they really went for it, didn't they? They really went for it. And it's lovely, even now, 4 months later, to see that many of them have stayed in that habit about being visible, going live on Instagram. Some of them are putting together kind of freebies to help people come onto their email list. Some of them are saying, oh, I'm sending out newsletters, and now I'm actually telling people on my email list what's going on and not just letting it sit there and marinate. So it's really nice to see that they're doing that. And what's behind that actually is a bit of mindset work, or a lot of mindset work. And if there's something about being visible that's uncomfortable for you, but for example, it's where your ideal clients hang out, so you're going to have to kind of find a way to do it, because that's part of running a business. I'm not saying that you need to be on Instagram and doing, live speaking events and doing a podcast and all those different things. You don't have to do that, but you really need to find some ways that you're going to be able to let people know what you're doing. And if you've got blocks, or if you're procrastinating around that because it feels so uncomfortable, then you need to find ways of starting to be more comfortable with that. And some of it's practice, but some of it is around that messaging that we have in our back of our heads, that perhaps we don't want to be laughed at, we don't want to we don't want people to argue with us on social media. Maybe it's that you don't want to reach out to other local businesses because you're afraid of them rejecting you or saying something negative. And of course all those things can happen, but as serious business owners, we kind of have to get over that and find a way to build our confidence in it, so that it becomes less stressful. And then the less stressful it is, the more likely we to do it, and the more visible our business is, and the more people know about it.
Yeah, and just on that point, I think, when we are worried about what do people think and what are they going to say, like, let your brain go there. Like, okay, what's the worst that could happen? So if I say something on social media and somebody disagrees with it, like, what's the worst that can happen? They'll disagree with me. I can block them if I want to. It's very unlikely, if you've got a small audience, that you're going to get trolled to the point where it's that you have to shut down your social media account or something like that. I mean, there are cases of trolling with much, bigger accounts. I've never been massively trolled. I've had people say that they don't agree with things, particularly over like the use of inclusive language and things like that when I'm on the Calm Birth Schools grid, or in any of the copy that I use. But that doesn't bother me, because I'm like, well, I'm standing in my values and my beliefs. So, if you don't like it, you go somewhere else where they don't use inclusive language, and that's your thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
Not for me. So really standing firm in your values and your beliefs can really help. And then, of course, you might get rejected by somebody in your local community not wanting to connect with you. So again, like, what's the worst that can happen? They can just ignore you and maybe say, no, they're not interested, or actually I've got a partner that I work with who, delivers what you deliver. So what? Okay, move on to somebody else. Find someone that you do connect with. So I think it is important to just let your brain go there and work out, like, what is it that I'm actually afraid of, and is it really as scary as my brain is making out? And then you did touch on something else there, Anna, which I think is really important, and that is the bit about taking our businesses seriously. I mean, I think the amount of birth and baby business owners who I probably don't even consider themselves to be business owners. I think maybe go and do some training and then don't really realize or understand, even if their training providers is telling them how challenging it might be, that they might not understand how, until they're there and they're in it, how difficult running a business is. And really, you need to, or maybe difficult's the wrong word. I don't find it difficult. I love it, but it takes like a lot. It has to be a priority in order for it to be successful. So taking it seriously, making it a priority. If you want to have success and you want it to be profitable, then that has to be key as well.
Yeah, it really does. And that involves letting people in your life know that it's important to you, protecting time in your week that is for your business and other things don't encroach on it. And generally being a little bit obsessed with your business. I think you have to be a little bit obsessed with your business for it to work. If you're a bit like, I like it, but it isn't really going to go anywhere. And I know actually some people who do come and train with me and they have a young family or whatever it might be, or it could be they've got a really full-on full-time job and they finish training, like, actually, do you know what, I realise I'm not going to have the time to do this in the way that I would first envisaged, because I think people think, they think about the teaching time or the support time, the time with their actual clients, and they don't realise about the other stuff. But obviously on our training courses we do share all of that, and so I think when they realise that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's like they might have to just scale back what they kind of had planned. For example, like they were going to perhaps have lots of services, and then they're just going to, while they're working full time or while their kids are not in nursery or school, they're going to just maybe run like one class a week or whatever it is. So it's not about saying that there's only one way to run a birth and baby business, because that's not true, but it's about being realistic about what is going to work for you with the time you have, but then committing to it as a priority in your life.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, I was just thinking then about when my children were small and what I'm doing now versus what I was doing then, and just sort of thinking, how challenging it would have been with very small children to do what I do now. I mean, I was still running a business and doing all the things that we're suggesting people do, but it's working out how it all fits in your life and making it work for you and your family, whilst prioritizing it as well. So great. I hope that was helpful for everyone to work out some of the reasons why they might not be getting clients, or the clients that they the amount of clients that they want to get. So if you enjoyed that, we'd love it if you would like or subscribe, leave a comment, a review, or share with somebody that you think would find this useful. And we'll be back next week with another episode.
See you next week. Bye.